He's in Washington, D.C. Where were you this weekend, Roland?
Oh, my God. Detroit for the NABJ Black Journalists Board meeting, but also spoke to the Ann Arbor, Michigan Alphas. And before that was in Denver, speaking at the Alpha Western Regional Convention. So came home for less than 24 hours, and I'm off to Atlanta for the Operation Hope, Global Hope Forum in Atlanta. So,
all right.
One of those wild, busy weekends. So glad to be here. So I'm on the plane yesterday, and I am checking Twitter, and I'm seeing folks go off on Killer Mike. And how dare he support the NRA, and how is he against these young people for the March for Our Lives on Saturday, and all this sort of stuff. And so I hit him up, and I said, Mike, would you like to talk about this sometime, Joyner, in the morning? And Killer Mike is here with us right now. First of all, glad to have you here. So first, you did an interview with his brother with NRATV, and they ran it on Saturday. But when did you do the interview?
Well, no, it didn't run. It reran on Saturday. His name is Colin Noor, and it ran a week ago. And then NRATV, someone at NRA got cute and dropped it on top of, the biggest youth-led march our nation has probably ever had. And I'm sorry for that happened. I don't have any control of that. But my interview was about African-American gun ownership in the era that we're living in now in this country. And it was a week old by the time you guys saw it. Mm-hmm. And if you saw my interview, that's what I talked about. Even when people refer to me saying, I told my kids, you walk, I walk in my house, that was because my son is flunking math. And I'm mad at his butt because he needs to pay attention in class. That's what any black parent was told. That's what my black parents told me. Hopefully that's what he's going to tell his black son one day. So education is important.
So you were not criticizing, criticizing young people who walked out of school in support of the march.
No, I prayed during the national anthem because my favorite basketball player did that when I was in high school. I told my child stay his butt at his desk because he's flunking math. And as a parent, I can't regret doing that because I can't give the world a dumb black man. They'll return him to me dead or in prison.
Did you say that in the interview?
Yeah, well, you should watch the interview. It's a very informative interview. 80% of the interview, I talked about poverty and crime.
Okay, but I'm just asking.
I gave an interview about black people owning guns. Yeah, and I'm going to say this because I don't, this is not an apology tour to spiel for me. This is me saying to black people very assertively right now, you must have a do-for-self mentality in today's world. You cannot say amongst each other that you think your president is Hitler and not operate in a way in which you want to be self-sufficient. I get home from 15 months of touring in 3 weeks, and my former art teacher called me and said, finally, you're going to learn how to grow food as good as your sister. We're going to do a garden in your backyard. I want black people fishing. I want them hunting. I want them growing their own food. I want them shooting and training regularly. Now, that ain't saying Walking Dead is going to happen tomorrow. That just says we need to be back independent. We were independent prior to desegregation. We were independent 54 years ago. And somehow along the last 54 years, we've lost our way, and we aren't as independent as we were. I was raised by two old people from the very rural South, Tuskegee, Alabama, and Eaton, Georgia. So I know how to do all the things I just named. I would like to know that the average 17 or 18-year-old boy doesn't have to join the military to learn those things. I would like our community to be producing self-sufficient young men and women who are on business owners, homeowners, parents that are happily married, that raise us. I think that this country is better when our community is strong. And just like Jesus would say that inside the temple and outside, he said to a Caesar or a beggar on the street, I just was told you tell the truth wherever you go. So
Killer Mike, when I look,
allies and that I love, I apologize that it offended you where I said it, but the truth is the truth, and I want us to be dependent on us.
I saw several people say
mastering firearms.
I saw several people say Killer Mike is covering for the NRA. First of all, just for are you an NRA member?
No, I'm a member of NAGA, though, the National African American Gun Association, and I'm also considering joining the Socialist Rifle Association, which is a group I just found out about. And you all should join a club. Restart the Huey P. Newton gun clubs. Restart the Robert F. Williams club. I wish that a million of us would have flooded the ranks of the NRA and took over the ranks. That's not going to happen. That's obvious. What I want the black people to do is to become self-sufficient, to form their own clubs, to take over their own organizations or build their own organizations to be self-sufficient.
You
That's
posted
and
a
that
video on
includes,
Instagram where you say first of all where you apologize, very similar to what you just said here, and you also say that you are very much in support of what those young folks did on Saturday.
I'm in support of youth organizing. I've been a youth organizer since when I was 15 years old. I entered the world of organizing. I organized with the Atlanta Sports Commission on Children and Youth, Kids for Change. Later, as a young adult, I taught Kids for Youth by Youth how to organize, and I've remained an activist and advocate and organizer for much of my life, even down to creating a foundation right now that's a grassroots organization. So I am in full support of any time young people organize, because as an American right, that's something we all should find a passion for. We should find a passion for something we care about. We should take to the streets and make sure other people know about it.
When we talk about what's happening now in this country with a call for gun control, yes, you are an avid supporter of the Second Amendment. One of the young folks who spoke, David Hogg, he also said the same thing. He said Fox News said he was not, he wanted all the guns taken. He said, my dad is an FBI agent, that guns in my house. That's simply not true. Do you believe the argument, what the young folks were saying on Saturday, that there needs to be something done about the prevalence of guns in our society?
I think that we've done things in 1986 like ban fully auto. I think we've done measures after that. I think my state has pretty tough laws, and I think other states do. If are the voters going to make that a national law, and are you going to federally register your gun now? I don't know. We'll go to the polls and see that. I, as a gun owner, was vetted pretty good in the state of Georgia. So I'm satisfied with my system, but we know it's a state-by-state system. The state you live in, I cannot answer for. But as for Georgia, I know in the city of Atlanta, it's tougher for me to get a gun than it is for my cousins in rural South Georgia. So that kind of makes up for the urban plague of guns. But I just like to tell people, if you feel that way about it, get to the polls, elect politicians that you believe will vote the way you want them to, and push the agenda forward.
Hey, Killer Mike, as a gun owner, do you think there's need for a citizen to have the AR-15?
I think there's a need for there are 5 guns that are needed in every black household, in every American household. You need a semi-automatic pistol. You need a revolver. You need a shotgun. Those things are for protecting oneself out in the world. Shotgun would be for protecting the home front. You need a bolt-action hunting rifle, which in many cases are more powerful than an AR-15 in case you want to catch and kill game yourself. And you need an AR-15, a AK-47, some domestic semi-automatic version that looks really mean but is still a semi-automatic weapon. You need that weapon in case of tyranny. Absolutely.
Wow.
You said in case of tyranny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyranny is why black people have only been free 54 years. We literally have only been out of apartheid 54 years. And had it not been for people like Deacons of Defense, had it not been for people like Robert F. Williams, and had it not been for people like the Panthers who were willing to engage in civil unrest even through means of violence, it's arguable we wouldn't be free now.
All right.
Yeah. Shots fired.
All right.
Killer Mike, we appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Love, peace.